universe has your back. Transform fear to faith. Gabrielle Bernstein. Hay House, Inc. Dedication. For my dearest friend, Michaela, thank you for being my spiritual running buddy. Introduction. In the spring of 2015, I had a meltdown in a yoga class. Out of the blue, while in the middle of a sun salutation, I was taken over by terror and anxiety. I sat down on my mat to take a breath. It was then that I began to feel a terrible pain in my neck, and the entire left side of my face and arm went numb. I started to freak out. I left the class, called my husband, and scheduled an emergency appointment with a doctor. Within 24 hours, I had undergone multiple MRIs and blood tests. Waiting for the results to come back was one of the scariest times of my life. When the results did come back, I was at a loss. There was no diagnosis for my physical symptoms, and ultimately, the doctors diagnosed the episode as a panic attack. This experience, however, seemed to make no sense. At this point in my life, I had an amazing, supportive husband, a thriving career, a healthy body, and a loving family. In fact, I was living a life far beyond my wildest dreams. I had spent a decade growing my spiritual practice, healing old wounds, and deepening my faith. And I was finally free, or so I thought. In the following week, I managed to pull myself together, but I was deeply concerned about why this had happened. My logical mind couldn't figure out what went wrong, so I turned to my meditation cushion for inner wisdom and guidance. Coming out of a deep silence, I began to write in my journal. Words fell onto the page. This is your resistance to love and freedom. The lingering darkness within you is resisting happiness. I was taken aback by what I had written. Could all of this serious physical pain really be my resistance to love? For years, I thought that once I worked through my past wounds, I'd be happy and free. Once I established a sense of security, I'd be happy and free. And once I deepened my spiritual connection, I'd be happy and free. Through my commitment to my personal growth and my spiritual path, happiness and freedom did set in. My outside world began to reflect my positive internal condition, and life began to flow beautifully. And then, like clockwork, the presence of fear within me did everything it could to resist the love and light I had grown to rely on. I looked closely at this resistance in order to understand and acknowledge its presence. After a lot of exploration, I came to understand that it's our resistance to love that keeps us in the dark. This resistance is the reason we stay stuck in patterns that keep us from thriving. You may have found that you regularly experience relief with meditation, prayer, positive affirmations, therapy, or any other type of personal growth, only to sabotage that great feeling with a limiting belief, negative comment, or addictive pattern. This experience continues to occur because the moment we lean toward the light, the darkness within us resists it. Even when we make a commitment to love and happiness, we often find it hard to give up the fear we've grown to depend on. We give purpose to our pain, believing struggle and strife are necessary to success or lasting joy or a meaningful life, and we feel safe in a state of conflict and control. We carry an unconscious belief that in order to stay alive, we must hold on to our protection mechanisms no matter how great love may feel. You may be doing all you can to create freedom, connect to flow, and release your fear-based habits, but it's likely that the moment you feel some sense of relief, you're blindsided by the shadow of fear that dwells below the surface. You may not have recognized this pattern before, but when you do, you can begin your journey toward freedom.